So, where are we at? A couple of days off, a month of no alcohol. Now, a lot of you, if you're like my wife, who's not just never seen any addiction to anything, doesn't get it. You think, oh, so what? What, you haven't drank for a month? Neither have I. But there's going to be others of you that will understand. A month with not a drop of alcohol is a massive deal. We've said in previous videos, I think you've got to really be ready and want to stop. Now, I've wanted to stop for well over 10 years, drinking alcohol habitually. But you've got to really want to and really be in the right head place. I've tried and failed, but this is by far the longest I've not had an alcoholic drink since I was 17 years old. By far, probably 2 weeks would have been the previous record, because when I was younger I drank every weekend like most young people do, and as I've got older, got my own house and so on, if you've been following along, got in the habit of drinking most nights of the week. Might have 2 or 3 nights off midweek if I can, and for no reason of getting drunk, for no reason of getting hammered, not a lot of stuff, just a couple of beers, as we've already discussed, bottle of wine. Not a lot, is it? Turns out by the time you get to your 50s, you are starting to do yourself some serious damage inside, and that's why I've stopped. I wanted to stop when I was 40. This set of videos really isn't, again, for that. Those of you that are getting up in the morning to load up on alcohol before you go to work, that's a different league, and I would say, as addictions go, a different kettle of fish. This is for those of you that think having a drink every night is perfectly fine and normal, but realising you're probably having more than you think, and that amount of poison, because that's what it is, for that long, it's not good for you. So in the previous videos we've gone through some of the withdrawal and side effects of giving up. I'm feeling better now, so let me tell you some of the things I've noticed in a month. Weirdly, when I started taking statins quite a while ago, all the hair on my arms, most of my legs and my eyebrows and most of my beard stopped growing within a few days of taking statins. I swapped the kind of statin, it got rid of all the other side effects like the aches I was getting and the pain, but the hair never grew back. Weirdly, my eyebrows have grown back. There's some noticeable more eyebrow since I've stopped drinking for a month. So that's a weird thing, and I don't expect you're going to notice that because you've probably got eyebrows. So that's a weird thing. Probably skin colour, sort of how my skin is. I went through that withdrawal of like a really itchy rash. Probably better now. My beer belly, because it's not just all the gas in the beer, is it? It's the sort of the empty calories when you drink whatever you drink, that sort of sugariness of alcohol. My beer belly's definitely going down, so that's probably a good thing. It is gradually deflating. Weird thing, my wife said, you've not had a packet of crisps for like a couple of weeks in the evening. I didn't even notice, because you know as well as I do, when you have a drink in the evening, you tend to get the munchies. You probably want a nice packet of crisps, even if you've had your tea, and if you're like me, you probably want some cheese or a massive bar of chocolate. I haven't done any of those things, haven't thought about it. So again, probably having health benefits there. I'm not having the munchies that I kind of didn't even know I was doing. I've not noticed. I haven't been scoffing big bags of crisps every night, washed down with chocolate or cheese or something after I've had an evening meal. So that side of it. The cravings are easier. The thirst is always there, that's the trouble. But let me tell you what's helped in certain situations, which has also become a possible problem to avoid or watch out for. So what I've found is, I've cut out that drinking in the evening, but obviously the harder thing is, you've got friends round when you normally really have a drink, or you go to friends' houses, or you have a meal out with your spouse or friends. For me, always going to have a beer or some wine or whatever. So that's been hard. You're going out for a meal, and you go out for a meal with friends or family, and they're having a few beers, and you're in a pub. Oh, So, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I've been trying 0 alcohol drinks. So 0 alcohol Guinness has been the first one that I've sort of had the bulk of. I said to my son the other day in a pub, he was having a Guinness, real one. I said, have a sip of that, see what you think. And he sort of drank it like he was wine tasting, and in the end he went, Dad, it's kind of Guinness, but it's sort of empty, isn't it? Hit the nail on the head. Your brain knows that has no alcohol in it, and there's just something about it. It's not full-bodied. So you're kind of shortchanging yourself, but what's happening is you're satisfying that habit of drinking in those situations where you definitely would have a drink. It's made it easier. I've tried non-alcoholic, in a can, gin and tonic, ready mixed. I found that a real letdown on the whole experience of drinking it. And it also, every time I've had it, it's given me tummy ache. But yeah, that wasn't fooling anyone. But we was away seeing family down in the New Forest last week. Went out for beer one night, had 0 Guinness, it's okay. And the pub the other night, they hadn't got it. They said, there's a shortage of it. So many people like me drinking it. And I think it was, I can't remember the name, I think it was a local lager, 0 alcohol. I said, I'll try that. That was the best thing so far. It almost tricked me that it was a nice lager. So what I'm trying to say is, if there's times when you're really struggling because everyone's having a drink, try some different 0 alcohol beverages and find something you like. It has really, really helped me in those situations, because as you know, an orange juice or a water just does not have that same effect when you're drinking socially out for a meal. So there's a tip. Try some 0 alcohol drinks. Find if there's something you like. It might get you out of a sticky spot. However, what I've noticed in the last few days is it's crept in. It's been a substitute. Going home, going in the fridge to get a 0 alcohol Guinness. I've started drinking that stuff like I drink beer in the evening. And you think, well, Dave, it doesn't matter, it's non-alcoholic. It's still beer. It's still got all the stuff in it that's probably not doing me any good. It's still going to give me a beer belly. It's still... you're kind of lying and cheating to yourself. So I think really try and use it to get you out of a sticky spot. But you got to not get in the habit of drinking that stuff. I know people that have gone from drinking alcohol to just Coke or even Diet Coke, and they don't look good. They have ballooned out massively just on drinking soft drinks. They're no good for you either. So, if you're doing it because you don't want to drink alcohol for the health reasons, there's no point doing something that's still quite bad for you. So, definitely watch it doesn't creep in as a habit drink in its own right, for sure. And on that note, I'm driving out. I've had a very long day at work. Not a bad day. We don't need an excuse to have a drink, do we? Or we've got plenty of excuses. I'm driving home from work, and I know, because I saw it earlier on today, there's a 0 alcohol Guinness in the fridge. So it's having the same effect, that branding and marketing. I can subconsciously visualise that can of drink in the fridge. I'm thinking, when I get home, might as well drink one. So it's definitely become a problem. It's become a thing. And I don't think that's an abnormal thing to happen. If you remember back several years, probably quite more years than I care to think, vaping started. Now, we'd had e-cigarettes and all of that, Nicorette patches to help the smokers. There was never much good for us drinkers, but they'd got their Nicorette patches, they'd got their e-cigarettes. Vaping came out, and people swapped from smoking cigarettes to vaping, because that was a harmless thing. Water vapor and a flavouring. What harm would that do you? Better than smoking as a habit, maybe. Help you wean off completely, maybe. Jackie, my wife's a nurse, and she said, we're going to see health things about that vaping over a few years. No one's done long enough clinical trials on that stuff. In a few years, mark my words, we're going to find out that's damaging people's lungs. And sure enough it is. And here's the thing, people don't just vape as a way of stopping smoking. As you know, some of you probably do this. Vaping's a thing in its own right. People vape that have never smoked. What is wrong with our brains and our addictions and habits? So people are definitely damaging their lungs because they vape a lot and have never even smoked. It's like someone drinking non-alcoholic beverages, as in zero alcohol, alcohol-free things, that have never drunk. What's the point of that? But I guess some people probably do. So yeah, to sum up, I'm feeling better. I think I'm seeing some health benefits after a month of not drinking. The thirst is there. I do fancy a drink, but the cravings are not at their full. They've subsided. They're manageable, and to manage them further in sticky situations, social situations, a zero alcohol beverage that you could just about deal with is a big help. So I just wanted to really report back. I think a month's a big milestone. As I say, some people would think, what the hell? For me, a month without drinking, that's a very big milestone. For a habitual daily drinker that's drank daily most of his adult life and has been drinking weekly since the middle 17-year-old, it's a big milestone. So 53 years, I really wanted to kick this at 40. At the moment, when I go around friends' houses, I'm going to drink, and I have drunk zero alcohol. I'm not doing this to say I'll never drink again, but I know from efforts in the past, I need to properly break this habit before I have a social drink on a Saturday night with someone, knowing I don't have to then feel I might as well have one Sunday and Monday because now I've started, I might as well finish off the box of drink. I know that I've got to really put some time in before I allow myself to have a drink, and that'll be an experiment in itself, and obviously I'll report back. Anyway, thanks for watching. You're probably one of 10 people that are tuned into this little channel. I do other YouTube channels, some of you probably know that. I do a falconry channel as my main channel, just my interest, and reptiles and snakes, another one, and even a little one on my cars. But this one is really to try and help people, because I'm all about showing you I've got no shame. I'm happy to talk to you about my problems that I know some of you have, and literally share my experiences, warts and all, how things go, how we get along, what's going on in my head, how I've got over some of my problems. Just hope it helps someone, but I'll catch you later.